Good morning, sixth graders. Welcome to our technology class. This is week 34. So we have now completed 2 of the computer science projects in CS First. So I was thinking of maybe showing a few of them. So I was just going to click in and see some of you guys that completed some of them. So let's see, here's Samantha. Let's just take a look. Sports commentary. So I'll pull up a few of the projects and we can at least see each other's. Let's see. This one. Oh. I don't know, Samantha. It didn't quite work. Let's see. You have another one in here. So the sports commentary was last week. You're supposed to add in some different commentary. So let's see. This is the victory celebration. Cool. Let's see if anybody else did it. Let's see. Caitlin, let's take a look. What you have in here. Caitlin's victory celebration. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, cool. Little kitty cat says touchdown. Nice. All right. Oh, it looks like you did the sports commentary. Let's see. Oh, no, I don't think you added the code in yet because it doesn't do anything. So if you didn't add your code in yet, please make sure to do that so I can give you a grade on it. Let's take a look at Joshua. You have the victory celebration in there. Let's see what yours looks like. You can also can move your cat over to this side so we could actually see the cat. So you just have to play around with the location of the sprite. So you can try that. Let's see what Jacob worked on. See what we have. Jacob has a victory celebration in there. Let's see what yours does. Oh, nice. Good job. Let's see who else we have in here. Eugene, let's see what Eugene did. Eugene has a victory celebration. Let's take a look. See what you programmed yours to do. Whoa. Nice. All right, great job. So you guys are really getting the hang of adding the code in. Let's see, Dylan. Dylan has also a victory celebration done. So remember, the one from last week was the sports commentary. If you didn't do it, please do it. Let's take a look at Dylan's victory. Oh, Dylan, I don't know. Is there any code in it? It doesn't do anything. Thinking maybe go back. Yeah, you didn't add any code. So you have to actually add code to it. So please make sure that you do add the code so that way your project works. Okay, let's take a look at, I think this is Daniela. Let's see. See what yours does. Oh, wow, nice. Cute. Oh, he's doing a little flip. Okay. And then Amanda, do you have one in there? You have a victory celebration in there. Let's take a look. All right, so you guys are really starting to get the hang of adding in some of the code. A few of you, so Santiago, please make sure you get started. And then if you didn't finish the sports commentary, the one from last week, please put that one in there. So what I do is I just click in just like I did, and I just check and see that you did the code and that it works and everything. And then I just give you a grade based on your effort, basically. So, you know, if it looks like you put a pretty good effort, it doesn't need to be perfect. You get 100. But then if I take a look and it looks like you didn't even really put any code or any effort, then obviously your grade is going to go down. So this week we are up to lesson 3. So net sports. So we're going to make a net sports game. So I'm going to shut my video off and I'll go through this with you guys. So let's start with the video introducing us to what we're doing.
Welcome back, team. It's time for Activity 3 of Google's CS First Sports. Get pumped to create a fun and exciting net sports game of your choice. You can choose tennis, volleyball, or badminton. A fun fact about badminton, it's technically the world's fastest sport. The serving players can hit the birdie up to 206 miles per hour. In this activity, you'll use an important computer science concept called conditional statements, also called if-then statements. Computers make decisions based on the instructions you give them. The code block that tells a computer to make a decision is called a conditional. A conditional statement has 2 parts, the condition and the instructions to run if the condition is true. You can frame the decisions you make in if statements. If it is cold outside, you put on a jacket. It being cold outside is the condition, and the instruction you run if it is cold is to wear a jacket. In soccer, if you want power, you kick with the front of your foot. If you want accuracy, you kick with the inside of your foot. Computer scientists like you have helped athletes improve their performance with apps that track their movements. When you connect the MeCoach Smart Ball from Adidas to a mobile device like a phone or tablet, it keeps track of the speed and the spin of a soccer ball after you kick it. The MeCoach app tells you how close to the professional kick you came. If your kick was very close to the pros, you'll see 5 stars. If it's much faster or slower, or it's got too much spin or too little, you can get half a star. The ZEP sensor does something similar for baseball. When connected to a bat, it tracks the path the bat takes and the speed of the swing. If the bat touches the ball, that portion of the swing is colored red. If the batter moves the screen, the app shows the ball from different angles. As you can see by these examples, the conditionals you will learn today are used in all types of athletic devices.
And so I want you to show them some things, moving back and forth. All right, so as you can see, it helps you measure, it helps you motivate, and it helps you maximize your game.
Pretty sweet, huh? The app connected to those shoes uses a lot of conditionals. If the athlete taps his or her foot, the app adds foot fires. If the athlete jumps, the app uses information from the sensors in the shoes to test just how high the jump was. This activity will use conditionals to decide what to do if the ball sprite touches a racket. You'll use the same concept that these gadgets use to help athletes improve their performances. Just like in the last activity, you've got a number of sports to choose from. You can choose to work with tennis, volleyball, or badminton. Click the link to open the starter project in a new tab. All right, here's the game plan. First, open the starter project. Once you've done that, return to this tab, click the next arrow, and move on to the next video to start coding your project.
Okay, so I'll show you guys what your choices are. So you have the tennis starter project. So if you're into tennis, you might want to choose that one. There's badminton. So you might want to choose that one. And then there is volleyball. So again, really up to you. I think I'm going to go with the volleyball one. But you guys can choose whatever you want. So remember, you're going to rename it, put your name, lesson number 3, net sports game. And then you go to file, save now. Please make sure to put your name, the lesson number, and the name of the lesson. So then that way, when I go into your account, I'll see that your work is saved in there and I can click on it and then I can give you credit for it. Okay? So please make sure to do that. And I'm sorry if I just realized, I may have missed some of yours to share your projects. I'm really sorry if I did. And if I shared it and you didn't want me to, I'm really sorry. You should email me. I'm just if I didn't hear from you, I'm just assuming you don't mind if I share yours on the video. But if you don't want me to, you should email me or just come and see me and say, please don't share mine. But yeah, I'll try my best to share them because it's fun, I know, to see each other's. Like this week, it would be fun to see the games that you guys come up with, and I could share them next week. But again, if you don't want me to, I understand. Just let me know. Okay. So let's see. Here's the next
In this video, you'll make your athlete sprite move when the user presses the arrow keys. You'll create 2 conditionals, one to move the sprite left and one to move it right. From the control menu, drag out 2 if blocks and snap them together. Go to the sensing menu and drag a key press block into each conditional. For the first one, select left arrow in the dropdown. Select right arrow for the second one. Next, from the motion menu, place a point and direction block into each of the conditionals. The first conditional moves the sprite left, so select -90 in the dropdown. In the second, select 90. To test it, hold down either the left or right arrow key and click the block stack. Try to get the sprite to turn around. As you can see from the test, pressing the left arrow flips the sprite upside down. Fortunately, Scratch has a block that will make the sprite turn side to side, but not upside down. From the motion menu, drag out the Set Rotation Style block and place it at the top of this code stack. Select left-right from the drop-down menu. Test again. Make sure to hold the key while you click the code. The sprite stays right side up. Nice job. Next, make the sprite move in the direction it's pointing. Place a move block under each conditional. Make this code keep running as long as the key is being pressed. Snap a forever loop around the block stack. Click this to test it. Press the left and right arrow keys and watch the athlete move from left to right. Pretty sweet. Finally, use a when flag clicked event to start the athlete's code. Snap it on top of the stack. Then, click the flag to start the game. Here's the game plan. Make the athlete sprite move left and right when the left and right arrow keys are pressed using if blocks and key pressed events. Then, add a set rotation style block to keep the sprite from flipping upside down. Make the sprite move in the direction it's facing with a move block. Use a forever loop to make the athlete keep moving as long as the key is pressed. Okay, so let's go in and get some of this code going. So of course we want to make sure we click on the player here, because remember, everything here that shows up is what is in your program, but you have to make sure that you click on the one that you actually want to add code to. So the volleyball has a separate code than the player. So right now we are programming the player, and then we will add in these blocks. We'll have a when flag is clicked, set rotation style to left and right. So we have our event, and then we're going to do our set rotation style. So we just have to find all of these blocks. So here's this one. It's nice that they're color coded. Then we're going to get a forever loop, and we'll get 2 if then blocks. So let's get a forever loop and then 2 if thens. So add 2 if thens in there. And then you want to do the key is pressed. So that is here. So let's see. Add a key is pressed. Key is pressed. Remember, we're going to be doing left. And then we're going to be doing right. And then you have to add in what happens. So you're going to point in direction and then move a certain amount of steps. So if we go back to the motion, so point in direction. So again, remember, left is going to be -90. And then right will be +90. So you'll put that in. And then you can get move 10 steps and add that in there. And then we can test it out now and see if it seems like it works. Okay. So there we go. Now I'm going to try pressing left, right. So perfect. Now we have our player set up and ready to hit the volleyball. Okay, so let's move on in the lesson. And now it's going to show you how to make the ball bounce. In this video, you'll make the ball sprite bounce around the screen. There are a lot of blocks in the Motion menu in Scratch that make the sprite move in different ways. The simplest way for a sprite to move is in the direction it's already facing. Click on the ball sprite. From the Motion menu, drag out the Move block. Click on it. The sprite moves, but only once. It needs to keep moving. In Activity 2, you used a repeat block to make the sprites repeat their change costume action. But that made the action happen a specific number of times, then stop. In this project, the ball should keep moving. From the Control menu, place the Forever block around the Move block. Click the stack and test it. The ball sprite moves until it hits an edge. Computer scientists call problems in their code bugs. The If on Edge bounce block from the Motion menu will fix this bug so the ball can keep moving. If you click on it, it seems to do nothing, but when you place it inside the Forever loop, the ball sprite starts bouncing around the stage. Pretty sweet. Right now, the ball will start moving in a predictable direction, which makes the game easier. To make the ball start moving in a random direction, from the Motion menu, place a Point in Direction block on top of the Forever loop. To make it choose a random direction, from the Operators menu, place a Pick Random block inside the Point in Direction block. Tinker with the numbers in the Pick Random block until you find the ones you like. This example uses -45 and 45. Finally, make the ball sprite start moving when the flag is clicked. Place a When Flag Click block at the top of the block stack. Click the flag. The ball sprite will start moving. Alright, here's the game plan. Make the sprite move with the Move block. Make it move forever with the Forever block and bounce with the If on Edge bounce block. Make the ball start moving in a random direction using Point in Direction and Pick Random. And finally, add a When Flag Click block.
Okay, so let's try and add this code. So we'll get our when flag clicked, our point in direction block. I need to make sure I'm highlighting the volleyball. In your example, it might be the tennis ball. And then I will go in and I will start to get the code. You can always go back and look. So we're going to get pick a random number block. So that's in the operators. And we're going to stick it in there. And we can try out what they put in. We can also try anything that we want. So you can play around with it. Then we're going to get the Forever loop, move 10 steps, if on edge, bounce. So let's get our Forever loop and then our move 10 steps. And then let's see, if on edge, bounce. So now let's try it. And now we see our volleyball is starting to, now what do you think we're going to code next? Probably when the ball touches the player, it's going to need to bounce, right? So let's see, I think that's the next step. Bounce off the athlete. So let's take a look at this.
This video will show you how to make the ball sprite bounce off the athlete sprite in your project. For the ball sprite to bounce off the athlete, it has to know if it is touching the athlete. From the Control menu, place an if-then block inside the Forever loop in the ball sprite's code. The if-then block is an example of the computer science concept you're using in this activity, conditionals. As you saw in the first video, conditionals make blocks run only when certain conditions are true. In this case, the condition is that the ball sprite touches the athlete. From the Sensing menu, place the touching color block inside the if-then block. Click the color square and click on the athlete's racket or hands, depending on the sport you chose. This example clicks the orange color on the racket. Next, tell the program what to do if the ball sprite touches the color you selected. It should make the ball bounce. You will follow 2 steps to build this action. First, make the ball point in the opposite direction. From the Motion menu, place a Point in Direction block inside the if block. This block will change the ball sprite's direction. Click on the code to test it and wait until the ball sprite hits the athlete. It starts moving in another direction. Next, you will make the ball look like it's bouncing. For that to happen, the ball has to move towards the athlete, then away from it in the opposite direction. If the sprite turned all the way around, it would be in a full circle, or 360 degrees. so it has to only turn halfway, or 180 degrees, to point in the opposite direction and look like it's bouncing. To make this happen, subtract the sprite's current direction from 180. To do this, from the Operators menu, place the subtraction block in the blank in the Point in Direction block. Type 180 in the first blank of the subtraction block. From the Motion menu, place the Direction block in the second blank of the subtraction block. Click the code to test it. Then wait until the ball sprite hits the athlete sprite. Does it bounce back up in the opposite direction? If so, great, you did it. If not, look at your code again. If the ball bounces in the wrong direction, check the subtraction. If it's not bouncing at all, check that the conditional is inside the loop and has the right condition. If your code doesn't work right the first time, keep trying. Computer scientists often have to rework their code many times to get it to work. Use courage and persistence to keep trying until you find a solution that works. If you need help, ask a neighbor. That's all you need. Test it out and have fun playing. Then, move on to the add-on page to add...
Okay, so let's try and add this code here. So we already have up to here. So now we're going to get the if block, if touching color. And your code is going to look a little bit different. Why? Because your game is different, right? So if, and then touching color. So I'm going to be using the color right here, this orange color, because that's the hand of my player. Yours may look different because, again, your game is different, right? And then it's going to point in the direction 180 minus direction. So let's get the point in direction block. And then let's add it in. And then let's get the direction block, because we know we're going to get the operator block and put that in there. And then we can get the direction block, which was down here. And then we could do 180. So again, yours is going to look different for the touching color because yours will have a different color. So let's test it out and see if it bounces off now. Oh, I'm just not really that good at this, am I? Oh dear. So you have to actually play your own game, and obviously I'm not really that great at playing the game. Oh, there it goes, it bounced. It bounced, there it goes, it bounced. Woohoo! Okay, so let's see what some of the add-ons are, because they might have some fun ones for you guys. Let's see.
Congratulations on coding your project. Now you have the chance to add some cool stuff to your net sports game with the add-ons on this page. In the Bounce Reaction add-on, you'll program your ball sprite to do or say something when it bounces. Second Player will show you how to add a second athlete to your game so two users can play at the same time. Keep Score adds a score counter to your game so you can compete with your clubmates. In Play the Computer, program another sprite to play against the user. Pick the ones you want to try. You don't have to go in order. Have fun adding some cool things to your project.
Okay, so let's see. So we have the bounce reaction. We could add a second player. We could keep score. We could play the computer. So let's try and add a second player.
This add-on video will show you how to add a second athlete sprite to your project.
So we could make a real
you can play
game
with your friends and neighbors. For starters, to easily make another sprite with all the same code as your current athlete, duplicate the athlete sprite. Right-click it and click Duplicate. Next, adjust the new duplicate athlete slightly to make it unique. Start by changing the sprite's costume in the Costumes tab. Click this Flip Up-Down button in the top right to make the athlete face in the opposite direction. To change some colors on the new athlete, use the Paint Bucket tool. Next, change the backdrop on the stage from 1 player to 2 player. Click the stage, then the Backdrops tab, and select the backdrop with both a blue and a red bar. Drag the new athlete to the top of the stage so that it's opposing the other player. Okay, the last step is to change the controls for the second player so that it doesn't move with the same keys as the first one, and the 2 players can play at the same time. Back in the scripts, click the drop-down in each sensing block in the Forever loop. Select 2 different keyboard keys. A and D are good choices because they're on the other side of the keyboard. Test out your new athlete by clicking the flag and using the keys you selected to move it around. Does the ball bounce off the new sprite? Does it move the right way? Great, then you're done. Alright, here's the game plan. Duplicate your athlete, change the new athlete's costume, orientation, and position, then change the controls for this new athlete sprite.
All right, so
This
let's
add-on video
go
will show
give
you
it
how to
try.
add a second athlete.
So this can be a lot of fun. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to duplicate, and then I'm going to go into costumes, and I'm going to flip it, and then I'm going to do a little bit of color here. So I'll make this one different color, some green there. Okay. And then I need to change my code, so I'm going to use the A and the D keys for this one. And then let me go to the backdrop, and let's have it be a 2-player one. Perfect. And then let's move our character over here. And now let's try it out. So let's say, so there goes the ball. See if I can, oh dear, I'm moving 2 of them. I don't know if I can honestly. I can't say I'm the best person to be playing this, but I know you guys will have fun with it because you're way better at this than me. So that one hit it. Oh, this one needs to get it over. So I'm now turning it into a real game that you actually could play with a friend. So now maybe we could add a score. That would be
This
fun.
add-on will make your game more competitive by adding a score that counts the number of times the athlete misses the ball. To keep score, use a computer science concept called a variable. Variables are places where computers store information, like numbers and phrases. You'll learn more about them in later activities in this club as well. First, select the ball sprite. To make the score variable, click Make a Variable and type in score. If you've added a second player, call this variable score1. Then create a second variable using the same process and call it score2. Click OK to create the variable, and notice the new blocks that show up telling you the things you can do with your new variable. Here's a quick overview. Every time you click the flag, the score variable or variables should reset to 0. Then every time the ball sprite moves past the athlete and hits the red goal line, the first player's score variable should go up by 1. The same should happen for the second player. So the lower your score, the better you are at the game. First, build the scoring conditional. If the ball sprite is touching the red part of the stage, the score should go up. Start with an if block. The condition is that the ball sprite must be touching red. From sensing, drag out touching color and snap it in as the condition. To select the right color to detect, click the square swatch in the block, then the stage and click the red goal area. Check that the right color is selected. Click the Change By block. When you do this, the number inside score goes up by 1. Place this block inside the conditional. If you click the whole stack now, nothing happens unless you drag the ball sprite into the red goal area. Click again. Success! The score goes up by 1. To make this work for 2 players, right-click and duplicate the whole if block, then snap the duplicated stack below. In the second conditional, choose the blue goal 2 color and the score 2 variable in the Change By block. Whether you're building this add-on for 1 sprite or 2, the ball sprite should continue checking if the goal is scored, so drag a forever loop around the conditional stack. Top off the stack with a when flag click block, but remember that the score needs to be reset to 0 at the start of each new game. Do this by placing a set to block right under the event, but not inside the forever loop. If you have a second player, do this for their score as well. Test and see what happens. You may notice that whenever the ball hits the goal area, the score goes up by more than 1. Look at the code and try to figure out why. As soon as the score increases, the code loops back to the beginning. Wait, it goes through so quickly that the ball is still touching the red, so the score increases again. To fix this, Add a wait block after the change by block inside the if block. 2 seconds is fine, and it fixes the problem. All right, here's the game plan. Make 1 or 2 variables to keep track of the score. Use a forever block, an if block, a touch and color block, and a change by block to make sure the score increases by 1 each time the goal is scored. Start the script with an event and reset score or scores to 0.
Okay, so let's see if we can go through and do this, and then we'll have a full game that you can actually play with someone. So let's see here. We need to make a variable for score 1, and then we need a variable for score 2. So that's a good start. Then we're going to have our event block, and then we're going to do our set score to 0, because whenever we start the game, we want to make sure both scores are at 0 in the beginning of the game. Then you're going to do your forever loop, and you're going to need to add the touch color. So again, we'll have to do it twice because we have the brown and the blue, depending on which one. So let's start with the first one. So if touching the brown will change the score by 1, and then wait 2 seconds. So let me get sensing. Oh, wait, nope. First I need a if-then block. I need another if-then block because I'm going to be doing for both of them. I'm going to need a touch and color block. I'm going to need a touch and color block. Now let me go fill in the color. So the first color we'll have is this color. And then the next color we have is the blue color. Okay. And then we're going to have change score by. So for this brown one, we will change the score of player 1, I believe. So let's see, let me go to variables. Change score 1 by 1. And then for the other one, we'll change score 2. And then we could add a wait block, I guess. So that's under control. Okay. So now let's test it out. So now, let's see, oh man, I'm gonna have to play the game now. This is the only thing. Oh my gosh, okay. Let's see if it works. Oh dear. This guy's not hitting anything. Oh no. Doesn't seem to be registering though. So hang on a minute. I may have forgotten something. Let me see. Okay, let me try it again. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to start again. So now it's at 0. So now I'll see. It looks like it's, oh my gosh. So you guys will have, oh my gosh, score's going up. So you guys will have to try and see if you can try playing this with someone, but that would be fun. But yeah, so it's working now because I made a mistake. I put the code under player 2, but you have to put it under the volleyball. So now it's working. Your game is scoring. You have 2 players. So this is great because you would have made your first game, which how cool is that? Your first game. So you don't need to do all of the add-ons, but I think that the best 2 to do are the second player and the keep score. So I would say definitely do those. But if you want to do the other 2, I could just give you a bonus points if you do those. But definitely add the 2 players, add the score, and have it be a real working game. And then that way it will be fun, right? So that'll be your assignment this week. Have fun with it. Please make sure to catch up if you're missing any of the other lessons. Otherwise, we'll be looking forward to testing out your games, okay? All right, bye guys.